When I'm in Charlotte, I tune into the Chocolate Box. We back, revved up, let's go.
I'm excited to be here today on the Chocolate Box to talk and discuss the Joshua Project. I've got members of the board of the Joshua Project with us today, including Jared Brown, Derek Hines, Gray Edrington, Andrew Oliver, and Marcos Roberts. Welcome, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here with you. As we get started, I guess the first question that I have is, what is the Joshua Project? Marcos, can you give us a little?
Yes, the Joshua Project is about inviting young men, boys, young men, into a community of older men, mature men, so that they could explore and distinguish and be initiated into the mature masculine. Explore what maturity means in the masculine. That's what the main thing that Joshua Project is about.
Okay, okay. How old do you have to be to attend the Joshua Project?
You have to be at least 13 years old.
Okay.
You have to be, at least 13.
Is there a cutoff age?
We've had young men up to their mid-20s. So people who really want to explore this topic perhaps didn't get, many of us, like I can speak for myself, I had to, I had some models, but I had to kind of find out for myself what the mature masculine look like. It took me a while. So there are a lot of young men who are like in their 20s, and they still want to be invited into a community of older men, mature men, and discuss what does maturity look like.
And I would say along those lines, even past their 20s, I think we found that this is beneficial for some men going into the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Just again, to your point, the fact that they haven't gained or garnered any exposure to this type of program before.
Yes, our focus is on young men, but the reality is, in the entire span of life, we have opportunities to become reinitiated.
Absolutely.
And so I find that everybody who participates usually comes out, walks out of our events a changed person and a different person.
Right, right. Who oversees the Joshua Project? Can any of you guys give us a sense or a feel for that?
We have a board,
okay.
Carefully selected men that carry the heart of Joshua Project and carefully oversee it. But I would like to add to what is the Joshua Project question.
Right.
There was a time when men circled around fires, and we're far from hearth and fire now. And there was a time when a young man would look forward to going with his father and learn the skills that the father had. And in our culture, in our society, there's an absence of that and that rite of passage. And Robert Bly talks about a grief that many men carry because of that loss. And these young men, in today's world, dad disappears. If dad exists in the home at all, dad disappears to some mysterious place where he makes his money and comes back. So the Joshua Project is an opportunity for young men to circle around those fires and experience older men and be seen by older men. And it's an attempt, and it was started by a visionary here in Charlotte, Philip Lloyd Pearson, and he saw a need for this, and his vision spoke to a lot of us, and that's why we're sitting here now.
Okay, all right. So along those lines, based on what you've described, are all the events held outdoors?
Yes.
Okay. And how often?
4 times a year.
4 times a year? Or why does wilderness or nature play such a role in Joshua Project? Okay.
question. I think it's important to get outside of day-to-day life and also, you know, turn off electronics and turn off all the noise of day-to-day life and enter into a more sacred space. And what better sacred space than to be out in nature and you know, by mountains and trees and flowing water.
So you're looking to, and you're actually, as a group, communing with nature.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Along those lines, historically, has the feedback, do people find it energizing from that standpoint in serving the purpose of being out? Because it's a 3-day event typically.
Yeah.
Do they find that reconnection with one another in nature energizing? Has that been the experience?
I mean, that's been my personal experience, and that's, you know, what I've, you know, witnessed and heard from other people who have attended.
Okay.
It's almost like a reset. It reset when we live typically in these like climate controlled environments, you know, every day, and then again, like Gray was saying, you know, you have all these electronics, you have all these distractions, the screens and things like that. When you're out in nature, your first of all, your attention span broadens, and your consciousness kind of slows down to that tempo of the natural world, and we encounter, you know, the consciousness of that we have evolved into.
Okay. So you're actually disconnecting to reconnect with both one another and the land.
Yes,
per
sir.
se.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
Okay.
also with yourself as well, because with all the electronic noise, the light pollution, and then being in an environment where you're not accustomed, you know, to being affected directly by the weather,
Right.
you have no other choice but to kind of be able to go inward and connect on an outward level. And I find that even outside of the programming, something that usually happens is there's an opportunity for people to realize that they've gotten comfortable being uncomfortable.
To your point there, it sounds like part of Joshua Project is a journey of self-exploration. And again, with the main focus being, while it's beneficial for all parties involved, the main focus being those specifically the young men, and helping them come into their own on this journey we call life.
Yeah. It's a guided journey.
Does Joshua Project have a religious affiliation?
No, sir.
No. Okay, so all
I don't think it can, because there's so many religions involved.
right.
It's informed by many religions. Okay. I would say it's spiritual,
Okay.
but I wouldn't say it's religious.
And we don't ask, the organization doesn't ask anybody to believe anything. This is more of a becoming aware of self-awareness, things like that. You know, be able to look for yourself, your experience, and connect to your personal power, your personal freedom. You can look for yourself, and we create opportunities for that to happen.
And you're doing it in community.
And doing it in community, and just like Jared said, there are many religions, many houses of faith that operate, and so we leave that domain of religion to those organizations that are doing a great job doing that. Right. You know, we want to we deal with psychological maturity, spiritual, heartful, having men explore things that they have not, cultivated until that time.
Right. Not having the opportunity on other forums to do so here.
That's correct.
Okay. And again, under guidance and support.
Yes, that's correct.
How could someone get involved in the Joshua Project? How did you get involved, Andrew?
Yeah, so I'll just speak from personal experience. I started the Joshua Project right when I turned 13 years old. I was very eager to do so. I met Philip Lloyd Pearson, doing some other work with him, and he suggested to me that I check out this group, and I'd heard nothing about it. But instantly when I started meeting the people involved and kind of looking at things online, I got an instant sense of just community.
Right.
And so the process of joining is very easy for me, you know. It was just about getting connected with that person and getting connected with the people, then finding information online and signing up that way.
Okay.
So it would be very easy to go to jp4men.org and everything you need to be right there.
Everything you need is right there.
Yep.
JP4 men.org. Okay.
And it'll tell a little bit about us. It'll tell a lot about the organization. And you mentioned 3-day events. Our summer events, actually 9 days, where we do a lot of time in the woods.
Okay. And that's, so 9 days, is everyone involved in that, or is that a specific number of men?
There are a couple of guides that take the young men on a journey. And then the young men return to base camp. And maybe Andrew can tell a little more about what happens there.
Because you've been to the summer event?
Yeah, so I've gone 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah. So every year during the summer, it's around a week and a half long, this event. And it's one of the more powerful experiences within the Joshua Project, and it's just developing yourself fully. And so when you go into the summer, you have these guides with you, a couple people either from the board or from the group, experienced, everything like that, and they take you out into the woods. When I went the first time, we did a combination of backpacking and canoeing. So it's really representative of like a journey.
Yeah.
Taking a physical journey in life, but you're also finding yourself along the way. And yeah, just throughout the whole process, there's a lot of reflection going on and a lot of kind of priming you to be able to look inward. Like I said, around a week and a half long, 9 days, and really connected to nature and disconnected from all these other things that distract us all the time.
Right. So you're, and that's because I was going to reaffirm. So again, you're outdoors the whole time.
Yep.
To quote a phrase, in it to win it, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're here to help you the whole way.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
That sounds absolutely amazing. And you said you've gone twice.
I've done the summer experience 2 times.
Okay.
Yes. 2 times.
Because you're a full-fledged graduate, quote unquote, of the Joshua Project.
Yeah. So we have 4 meetings per year, and so you could call somebody a graduate by going through each one of those experiences. So for me, I started out doing the first 3, and then I did the summer experience for the end. After that, I had graduated from the Joshua Project.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now Andrew's returned to help.
Right, because you're an actual board member. Is that right, Andrew? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's powerful.
Which brings
in and of
great
itself.
joy to the board to have that happen.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll say I discovered Joshua Project through my search for a rite of passage for my own son. And I was involved in men's work, but none of the men in my group had been initiated or had initiated their own sons. So I was looking for something meaningful I can do for him. I had a great dad, but he missed that part. I did not get an initiation. So I found one, but it was led by men who were outlaws. And that road was a dangerous road. So I really wanted to make sure that my own son had a meaningful rite of passage that was safe and meaningful for him. And when I discovered Joshua Project, I knew right away that that was the right thing for him, and it has really worked well for several of our sons as well. I found it in searching for something for my own son.
Absolutely. Well, and I'll take the opportunity because while I'm the host today, in engaging you as board members, I myself have been a Joshua Project participant and have had the opportunity, and I state this because I can't think of a better organization for me. I've taken 3 godchildren to the project, and it is an absolute honor. That's to be here and be talking with you in this regard is an honor, just based on the work that's done.
Hey, this is Chocolate Drop with the Chocolate Box Presents and
Tia Capers of My Sankofa Table.
And we want to encourage you to tune into both our programs. The Chocolate Box comes on every Tuesday at 12 noon and then again at 9 p.m. And what about My Sankofa Table?
My Sankofa Table airs every second and fourth Saturday of the month, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
On Spectrum Cable Channel 21 and AT&T Uverse Channel 99. So you never know what you're going to get.
Nope.
You can watch the Chocolate Box Presents or
My Sankofa Table. What else?
and everyone is welcome at the table.
Absolutely.
Hope to see you there.
See you there. Bye.
When I'm in Charlotte, I tune into the Chocolate Box. We back, revved up. Let's go.
Joshua Project is also diversity focused. Can you talk a little bit about that and maybe even what specifically is going on within the project from a diversity standpoint?
Derek?
I can definitely say, well, for one, I think the question had been raised, why aren't there more people of color that have gone through it? And I had my own answer, which was when the Joshua Project was brought to me by one of my best friends, I was like, you want me to go where, for how long, and do what, with who again? Right. I would not have ever classified myself as an outdoors person, probably still wouldn't classify myself as an outdoors person, and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to take a shower for how long again?
Right.
And I'm not gonna have my phone for how long?
Right.
But once I got there and saw what it was all about, I was like, please, yeah, whatever I got to do, I'm coming. But it was also a great opportunity for my son and I to bond.
Absolutely right.
And that's kind of really what sold me on it. Was they started talking to my son about it, and he was excited to go, and I was just like, all right, you know what? He wouldn't go without me, and I was like, all right, I'll do this one time for you. But when the question was raised, I was like, yeah, there's a bunch of barriers to entry, and it really is just cultural. It's and so we sort of, and I'll let Marcos take it from here, thought, well, you know, what is there a way that we can better sort of bring more of us, you know, because we needed it. Like, how can we bring more of us in? Because every time I tried to talk about it with any of my other friends, they would do the same thing I did. And just like, man, I'm not going to the woods with a bunch of white dudes.
Right.
Literally, that was the statement. I don't have a tent. I got to buy a sleeping bag.
Right.
Where are we eating? Like,
Right.
wait, I got to poop where?
Right.
All those kinds of questions.
Right.
So we started, you know, with everything that Derek is saying, we saw, and we have seen for years, that there's a need to bring in young black men into this work. We saw that there was, you know, there was usually, there were some, you know, some young men of color participating, but it was always in the minority. So the Joshua Project has started an initiative, and the initiative, we're calling it M3, standing for Magnificent Melanated Men.
Okay. Hence the 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we gather and find young men who have never had any experience like this, and we initially bring them into a gathering where it's just black men, and we are, but it's black men who have been initiated into this Joshua Project experience,
Right.
and can bring that to them, and we can talk to their parents, and they can see who we are and what we do. We also create a situation where we have all the gear that anybody needs. They don't need to. The only thing that a young man needs to do is to bring themselves. First of all, young men usually come with their fathers. If they don't have, if there's not a man or a father in their life,
Right.
very often they come with a sponsor.
Okay.
And if they can't find anybody to sponsor them, then one of the board members of our organization will actually sponsor them.
Okay.
As long as their mother is well with it.
Right.
So we bring them in, but we have all the gear that they need, and we help them learn how to do this, and then we bring them in to the larger cohort in the Joshua Project.
Okay.
And now they feel that after they've been kind of gotten a taste of the honey and starting to see, this is not that hard, right. and also see the value in it. Right. They now are ready to be streamed into the larger group. But we have that for anybody who's interested. We all the black men in our organization. I believe we have 5 black men in our board.
Yeah. We've been Joshua Project has been very intentional in the integration of its board and its events. There are conversations that need to be had.
Right.
There are race conversations that need to be had.
And we have them.
And we have them in a sacred space.
Right.
With young men around to witness these conversations, very hard conversations. To face a black brother of mine and have a difficult racial conversation in front of a bunch of young men, it's very powerful and it's very important, and it's one small thing that we can do to help this world.
Right. Well, so from that vantage point, this is extremely empowering on a number of different levels. One, Marcus, as I heard you kind of describe, so there's whatever your avenue in through and into Joshua Project, whether it be directly through the Joshua Project site or going in through M3, you've got mentorship. There's like guides there. There's it's a 1-for-1 at a bare minimum. What I'm hearing. Oh, yeah. And again, then it's empowering from the standpoint that it's being modeled to younger men on how to, from the get-go, be okay with connecting and bonding and sharing in deep and powerful communications.
Oh yeah.
Hard conversations.
Absolutely. Young men are starving for this. This is what we see. And when they get it, when they are seen by older men, and older men are delighting in them and creating a space for them to be self-expressed and to explore and their potential, they love it, and it's just something that is very gratifying for all of us, and we're also honored each time we get the opportunity to do that.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today, for doing what you do, for stepping into this, stepping into community, but also stepping into yourself. It's an honor to hear about this and experience this with you. And also as kind of a, I guess, celebration here on the Chocolate Box, one of the things that we like to do is fully engage the full experience of the Chocolate Box with a piece of chocolate. So please.
Well, that's why I came.
Right?
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I can.
You're gonna know that's right. Okay.
I'm already chocolate, so we're good.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you again. Cheers all around, brothers. And as I like to say, aho.
Aho. And I say.
Hey, motherfuckers, whenever I'm in Charlotte, I'm getting jiggy with the chocolate box.
Yes.
Get jiggy with it. Special on earth. Yes.